In this tutorial, we'll be creating this fun fantasy mushroom house with gouache. Gouache is a fantastic medium. It dries quickly, is opaque, and when it's in its wet form, can be nicely blended and dries to a flat finish. This makes it the perfect medium for general illustrating and comic book art. So let's get into it. For a surface, we'll be using some 300 GSM mixed media paper in A3 sizing. Of course, this project could be done in A4 sizing too. We'll need a tear-off paper palette, and as we said, the paints we're going to use are gouache, and this is the 24-piece set. We'll also need a pencil to draw up our image, a 1-inch flat artist Taklon, a number 10 flat, and a number 2 round. First we need to print out the reference drawing, and referring to it, draw up the scene as well as we can. Take your time and don't add the paint until you're happy with the drawing. Remember to add as many mushrooms as you like, and feel free to change around the composition. Once we're happy, we squeeze out some titanium white, lemon yellow, medium yellow, orange yellow, vermilion, scarlet, crimson, cobalt blue, sap green, deep green, yellow ochre, burnt umber and lamp black. Before any paint is added to the paper, the colour should be tested on a spare sheet of paper to check if the colour is correct. Dip the 1-inch brush into the water and create a wet mix of yellow ochre and a touch of cobalt blue and lay this into the background. Once this is dry, create some very light burnt umber and lay in the tree trunks in the distance. Remember to vary the thickness of the trunks and vary the direction. Add more water and lighten the mix and lay in more trees. The lighter they are, the further away they will look. Varying the tones to create more interest is the key. Next we create a green from sap green and pale green and paint this into the bottom of the page. Add a little burnt umber into the mix and give it a bit more depth. Stay inspired and don't miss a video from us. Subscribe and leave a comment below with what you'd like us to create next. We'd love to hear from you. Next we can add colour into the stems of the mushroom with a mixture of burnt umber and grey. Create this tone a little darker and then we go over it with a lighter tone. Gouache can be treated like an acrylic in that you can lay lighter colours over darker colours. You just have to be aware that if it's overworked, the underlying colour will be reactivated, so you have to be quick and confident. Paint the underside of the mushrooms with a light wash of black, then you can put the gills in with thin black lines. After we finish the underside of the mushrooms, we then move on to the main mushroom house, and again darken it on the edges to show the cylindrical shape. One of the gouache's best strengths is how well it can be blended. Any shadows can be laid in with a dark grey. Every medium has its strengths. I like to think of gouache as an all-rounder. Keep the light source in mind and lay in any shadows around the eaves and the shadows cast from the caps of the mushroom. Keep building up the colour until the tone looks correct. We then mix up some darker browns and start to add these over the top of the lighter ones. Now we can add a splash of colour by adding red to the caps of the mushrooms. Use any of the reds and oranges on the caps and try to get some variation. Have you created one of our projects? Make sure you send us a photo. We love seeing your creations. The foreground can be laid in around the house and mushrooms. Mix a little black into the green, and while this is drying, we can add the door, and while we're at it, we can add any details as well. Add the white spots onto the caps. The underlying colour may contaminate the white, but we can go over the colour with more white when the first coat is dry. Sometimes it helps a painting by adding a colour that is different from the general tones in the rest of the painting. In this case, we'll be painting some plants in light blue, so first we have to lay a white detail base on. Allow this to dry and then glaze the light blue over the white. We can then create a mix of sap green with a touch of scarlet red to create an olive colour and paint this over the darker underlying foreground. Well, thanks for watching. We hope you're inspired to give gouache a go because it's such a fantastic medium. If you like this project, we've got loads more on our website. Jump online to check out our Create blog and sign up with Creative Connection to get lessons, inspo, tips and more sent directly to your inbox. Staying inspired doesn't have to cost a cent.